Hello and welcome back to GoodKnitKisses. I'm your host Kristen, and today we're going to work on my granny round and learning how to connect the grannies together. You are going to crochet them together, a single crochet method. I'm going to show you how to make 3 strands and one from one ball, and I'm showing you right now one of my granny rounds. Now this is an adapted one. You'll notice it looks a little different than the one I have on my video right now. The differences are I've made it in a garter ridge. So round 1 or row 1 is the cast on. I actually did a cable cast on with a crochet hook, and I've I did mine with my fingers, and it has this nice double edge on here, and it's nice and tight. And then we've got round 1, which is our row 1, which is the actual cast on, and then we have a purl row, and then an E-wrap, and then another purl, substituting row 4 instead for a purl row, and then we go to another E-wrap row and then start our decreasing to make our granny. So check out the video to do that, but you're going to substitute row 4 for a purl row to make this flat, and you can use a different cast on or your original cast on. I'm going to make an updated video as well to get it in a 24 peg loom, so if you want to do it on a smaller loom you can do that as well. So this is the loom that we use for the granny rounds. And right now I want to show you a turtle blanket that I've done. And this is a large, the large granny rounds, but you can actually do a large turtle blanket, and this one could fit as a costume, the back of a costume for a 2-year-old. I put a little double crochet tail on here, and this is what this is, and it's nice and thick. Or you can just continue this on and make this as a granny blanket and just alternate your circles into whatever pattern that you want. There's some charts out there online. I've already started this blanket here, and if you notice I've got all these rounds done. Let's say you want to have different colors connecting or whatever, so it's up to you and the format that's going to work for you where you start, but I've done everything first. And I wanted to show you that I like to connect them together. So I'm going to take a granny round and I'll just pick a point on here and attach one of these stitch holders. Now these open up. They're from Boy. This is the kind that I got. There's different one out there, but these have little openings on them. And you can use any stitch marker. You can use a piece of scrap yarn or something like a contrasting color and work them in that way. And then what I'll do is I'll connect several around each other at strategic points. So this was a 36 peg granny round, so you have to kind of do the math for whatever size you used before. And I'm going to connect at these 2 points here, and then I'm actually going to count over 6, and then the points are going to be over here and over here. And then the way the math works out will actually go down, so like this is 6 and over from here is 6, so where these come together would be at the 3 right here, and you'll end up connecting a point from this one, a point from this one, and a point from this one on the 3. Same thing over here, and it draws them close together like a hexagon. And I'm also going to make a video on a hexagon so that you can see where those points are, where they need to catch, so it'll be easier for you when you are sewing these all together or you're crocheting them together. Also, once you get to this point here, you're going to go down 3, these 3 loops. You're going to crochet down 3 points, and then you've got all this space here. Now this is on the edges, so say if my blanket kept going, then I wouldn't need to do this, but as it stands, the math works out, so when I keep going, I go down to the 3 here. This is where my next point of connection would be. And if I'm not connecting, then I'm going to have 18 open holes here, open stitches that I'm not going to do anything with, and I'm just going to do a simple single crochet. Now you can add any edge on here, you can connect them in any way you like. Single crochet is the way I'm doing it. And this has not been blocked, and I'm a little tight with my stitches, but I'm primarily a loom knitter and not a crocheter, so this is what you get. So let's get started on what you're going to need. You're going to need all of your granny rounds, or you can connect them as you go, especially if you've just got all solid colors, then you can just connect as you go. And as I've done here, I've cut it and then I've weaved in my extra tails. I don't have anything extra here. This is all, and this is what it looks like from the back. Okay, so it has this nice little stitch here. Actually, I got one little tail here from this one I need to cut. This is what it looks like. All right, so what we're gonna need is, this is my thread here that I'm gonna use. This is my 1 strand of worsted weight, and I'm gonna wrap it around my finger and make a slip knot. And today I'm using this hook here. It's a size L. You just need a large hook that's gonna help you with however many strands you're gonna need. You might need a smaller one if you didn't use this a bulky of a weight. This is a number 6 bulky yarn. Let's start by making a slip knot and take the back over the front and the back over the front again, making our slip knot. And with our extra loop here, before we tighten it, we're going to feed from our working strand that's coming from the ball. We're going to put this extra yarn through here, through the loop in the back, and now we've got 2 loops. And we continue to pull on this. This is coming from the working strand. You see, and you can hold on to this extra strand here, the straggler. You can hold it between your fingers and keep pulling on the working strand and making it longer. Okay, so now you can let that go, and do you see here, besides this straggler, we've got 3 held as 1. Pretty cool, huh? So when you're crocheting or you're knitting or whatever, these can be held as 1 strand together. Now, we've got this extra big loop that we don't need. We want to tighten that up. So we're going to stick in our crochet hook. And then we want to make this tighter. Now, you can't just sit there and tighten on the, you got your little straggler here and you got all this here, and it's not going to get, it's not going to tighten. So what you do is you go find the parts that will tighten, and it's usually the part that's coming from the working strand and the straggler. If I can find them. There we go. All right, so we're doing the 3 strands together in 1, and we're going along on our project, and all of a sudden we find this little short loop, and it's no longer 3 strands. You want to open up your loop and then pull, go through the middle and pull through on the working strand. And as you do that, it will make this little bitty fold that holds these together. And it's just a very slight bump. It's not as big as a knot, and it's really gonna get hidden in your project. All right, we are back, and we're gonna put our crochet hook through our slip knot where the 3 strands are held together as 1. I want to show you this right here. I had previously put this little stitch marker on here, noting where the 6 was, so I can tell where the 2 loops are, and then these 2 loops in the back go together. And I'm going to match these up side by side. So I have another stitch with these 2 holes right here. These top bumps. This is the side of my granny round, and then the side of this granny round up here. We're going to call this granny round number 2 and 3. This would be 1, 2, 3 if we're moving from left to right. So granny round 2. Here, this is our next stitch, and then granny round 3, this stitch here. Whenever we are crocheting, they're going to go through those, all 4 of those loops. And then our next set is here and here, and then the next set here and here, and then I ran out on granny round 2, and I have 1 more stitch here. So I'm going to put my crochet hook in that one. I need to pick that stitch up, and I'm actually going to go ahead, and when I'm on the left like this, when I'm on this side, I know that I actually want to come all the way over to the middle here on this granny round 1, because it closes the gap. I need to close this gap. If I go over this way, then I'm going to have a little bit of a color gapping here. So granny round 1. From granny round 3 to granny round 1, we're going to go in the top side of these 2 loops, these 2 side loops, and then underneath and up through from the back of the top of granny round 1. I'm going to wrap our hook and pull it through all 4 of these loops on the granny round. All right, and then now we're going to yarn over again and then pull through everything. And then this little straggler piece can get woven in, or you can do one more wrap around here. And I'm going to go ahead and just actually go back through the same stitch again, or over to the other side to enforce it. So I'm going to take this and do another single crochet. Okay, so now we're over here and I've filled in my color, and now I'm going to go through the next area, and if you want to pull it up on its side like this, we can see that these two bumps here are the next stitch, and then over here are the next two. So we're going to wrap around, pull through, and then wrap and pull through all of them. And with a lot of strands on there, you may have to make sure that you've got everything. And the reason why I'm using 3 on this one is because I use this super bulky, and because of the colors I wanted, I couldn't find a super bulky in this color. So I'm using 3 strands instead. If I had one color in the color that I wanted, then you'd be looking at only 1 strand. So we're going to go into the next one, the next 2 stitches, and then go to these back 2 stitches here, wrap around, pull through, wrap it again, and pull through. Okay. And then now we're on the stitches that have the stitch marker, so I'm just going to pull this off. I don't need that anymore. And stick those in, top to the back, and then go from the back to the top on this granny round 2. Tighten up your working strand, wrap through, pull through, wrap, and pull through the 2 on there. Do this again. Stick it in all 4 of these loops, wrap, pull through, wrap and pull through again. And now I've come to this point on here where I've got the extra strand that I need, the end of this loop here for my 3-in-1. So I'm going to pull through the extra amount that I need. You can do like enough, like an arm's length if you want. And then now I continue with my strands. So stick into the next stitch here. Sorry, I'm out of the frame. Stick to the next stitch here, wrap around, pull through, and then again. Okay, now I'm coming to the point where this granny round here is actually attached to this granny round here. It's the same thing as on the other side, so we're drawing this point in over on this point. Pull through, wrap around, pull through again, and then I like to make sure it totally gets all the color on here, so I'm going to go through this stitch here again, and I'm going to go back over to this other side. I want to attach it to this other granny round over here for reinforcement. So wrap through, pull through, and I may have lost one of mine. No, I didn't. Okay, so now we've completed this row here. So this is all connected now. And then you can reinforce it one more time by coming through this other loop here and wrapping. This is actually the loop that I've already got going from the other connection. Okay. So now that I've got that all connected, I'm sorry, I don't usually crochet on film, so I'm having a hard time staying on the frame. Okay, so we're going to take our scissors, go ahead and cut that and pull out these extra pieces here and pull this tight, and then go ahead and pull on through, weave in your tails. Okay, I cut off the excess. Now we're going to move on over here. I'm going to make another slip knot. Get some extra yarn coming out of the ball here. And pull through your extra here, making that other loop so that you have 3 held together as one, like this. And put your crochet hook on and go ahead and cinch that on up. Get that tighter. Okay, and remember, whenever you get your slip knot on here, you want to make it tighter up here. This is where your gauge is. You don't want to make it as skinny as it is down here. You want it up here. This is how you get the right gauge according to the hook that you want to use. So on this edge here, we're still doing single crochet. And go ahead and put your loop through on here on this first one on the edge and pull that on through, and I like to just do a little slip stitch here, and that locks that one in place. And see how it's real thin because that was just a single strand that we had to start with. Go ahead and pull through one more time and then reinforce that a little bit with color. And now we're going to go into the next strand here and the next bump here on the side. And we're going to wrap it once, pull through, wrap, and pull through again. And stick in our next stitch, wrap through and pull around. And just a reminder, this area right here on the edging is going to have, whoops, I've gotten tight somewhere. This is going to be 18 stitches around, so not including the connection point, you're going to have 18. So if you want to double check and count, I find myself double checking it all the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the point that was already connected over here didn't count. The first technical stitch in this was this one right here. We're going to continue with single crochet around. And if you haven't done this before, the single crochet, I have some videos on my YouTube channel with the playlist, learning how to crochet, and I don't do them. Actually, Mikey, also Michael Selleck of the Crochet Crowd, he has graciously had some on my channel. And if you want to learn how to crochet, the single crochet lesson in there is one you're going to look at, because if I'm going too fast for you, and honestly I'm not fast at all, but I may not be teaching it to you very well, but the point is, how do I connect my granny rounds? And that's why I'm teaching it, because the granny round is technically my pattern. So anyway, check that video out if you need help on it. And like I said, I am primarily a loom knitter. I don't crochet that often. Okay, now I'm at the point where I need some more yarn to make this 3-in-1. So I'm just going to pull through this loop that I already had on here and pull through extra yarn. Okay, and I just pull out like an arm's length at a time. In fact, this is a good way to measure and see how much yarn you're using. If you're keeping up, you could use a little tally counter on the side and keep up with how many times you pull through a yard, and then you'd know approximately how much you're using for your project. So that's just a nice little byproduct of that if you want to use it for something useful. And like what I just did right there is I accidentally pulled through the strands that were already on my hook and I hadn't wrapped around yet. So I had to make sure and pull it back off. Otherwise it doesn't have the look of a single crochet and it's too thin. It's not substantial enough. In fact, this is too tight, so I'm just gonna use my fingers here. And I don't promise to be perfect, but I promise to work on it. All right, you promise to work on it, and so will I. Oh, thank you for watching me. All right, here we go. And like I said, I'm gonna do a video on the 24 peg loom. And when you make those, they tend to be, whereas these circles are about 7 to 8 inches, depending upon the yarn that you use, those circles can be 3 to 4 inches. So if you're looking for something smaller, or if you want to try that little turtle blanket, you can do a little turtle blanket in that, and it'll be smaller. You may actually have to add more rounds than what I'm picturing here, but it's really cute. I'm actually taking them right now from the smaller loom and connecting them to make a scarf. Hopefully people will like it. If not, I do. So that's what matters. Okay, so now I'm on my last one. Want to make sure, and basically I'm just covering this with yarn. And you could leave these edges blank. Like if you like the edge without a single crochet and you just want to connect the middle, then go for it. Because I actually like it like that. Okay. So I'm on this last part here, and I've got a little bit of yarn left. I'm going to go ahead and pull through just a little bit, so I'm not too wasteful. I'm going to pull through a little, just so I have a straggler to work in. And now I really want to connect this point here, so I'm going to go ahead and go into that last stitch, which is kind of what we did on last one. Oh, I pulled it. Well, come on. All right. So I'm going to go into, I'm already in this stitch here, so I'm going to go into the previous stitch above, wrap it around, come through, and then do a single crochet. And then do like we did in the last one, go into one of these other single crochets and do another single crochet. Okay, and so now we're going to pull these on through and weave it in. And I cut that down below because that was just the one single strand coming on. So now I've got my yarn tail here, and I want to come through and weave this in. Oops. This yarn, this super bulky yarn, is actually really, really thick. If you're wondering what this one is, it's from Joann. It's from Sensations, and their Sensations line that has the super bulky is really bulky and thick and sturdy. It's actually very heavy, and so if you wanted to make these into like a little mat for a baby, oh, this would be so cute as like a nice floor blanket, and it'd be nice and heavy duty. So that would be a good one for that. So now that I'm done, we are going to cut that. And then I've got one little tail to weave in. Whoops. I'm not showing you what I'm doing, but here we go. I'm just weaving my extra little straggler tail in. And then once I'm done weaving that in, we'll cut it. And we have done this. Now you can block it, you can steam block it, wet block it, whatever you want to do. Spray it, lay it flat. There you go. So this is how I attach my granny rounds. Thank you again for joining me at GoodKnitKisses. Have a great day and happy crafting. Bye-bye.